The global geopolitical landscape reflects shifting power dynamics and strategic realignments. The contemporary geopolitical environment is characterized by significant transitions as established powers face the rise of new contenders, resulting in a reordering of global power structures. This period of fluidity is underpinned by complex interactions between state and non-state actors, as well as the increasing role of technological, economic, and environmental factors in shaping international relations. To understand the current situation and its potential evolution, a multifaceted analysis is required, focusing on the interplay of power among the dominant actors, regional conflicts, and global governance challenges. The US-China rivalry and the Indo-Pacific region. At the heart of contemporary global geopolitics is the intensifying competition between the United States and China. The US, as the incumbent superpower, seeks to maintain its global hegemony while facing the rapid economic and military rise of China. This rivalry has transitioned from purely economic competition to a more comprehensive strategic confrontation, manifesting across the diplomatic, military, technological, and ideological spheres. The Indo-Pacific region has become the primary theater of this competition, with both nations striving to assert influence. The U.S. strategy revolves around reinforcing its network of alliances and partnerships, particularly through frameworks like the Quad, which includes the US, Japan, Australia, and India. This grouping is intended to counterbalance China's assertive policies in the South China Sea, its military buildup, and its expansive Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which seeks to extend Chinese economic and political influence across Asia, Europe, and Africa. China, on the other hand, leverages its economic power to secure political loyalty from a range of developing nations, while advancing its military capabilities, particularly in naval and space technologies. The strategic ambiguity surrounding Taiwan continues to be a flashpoint with significant global ramifications, as any military conflict over Taiwan could escalate into a broader regional or even global confrontation, drawing in multiple powers. The European Union's geopolitical challenges and the war in Ukraine. Europe faces a unique set of geopolitical challenges, compounded by internal fragmentation and external pressures. The European Union, EU, aspires to play a more assertive role on the global stage, yet it is constrained by divergent national interests among member states, particularly in the realms of foreign policy and defense. The EU's economic might contrasts with its geopolitical hesitancy, as it struggles to define a coherent strategy in response to major external actors such as Russia, China, and the United States. The war in Ukraine represents a significant rupture in the European security architecture. Russia's invasion in 2022 has not only strained relations between Moscow and Western powers but has also tested the resilience of NATO and the EU. The conflict has reaffirmed NATO's relevance, leading to unprecedented military cooperation among its members, while exposing the limitations of Europe's dependence on Russian energy. The war also underscores the re-emergence of traditional power politics in Europe, where territorial integrity, military capability, and alliance systems once again dominate the security agenda. Russia's strategic objective appears to be the weakening of NATO's influence in its periphery, while consolidating its sphere of influence in the post-Soviet space. Yet, the extensive economic sanctions imposed by the West, coupled with military losses, have strained Russia's domestic economy and international standing, pushing Moscow to seek deeper ties with China, Iran, and other states that challenge the Western-led order. Middle Eastern instability and the geopolitical struggle for regional hegemony. The Middle East remains one of the most volatile regions in the world, with its geopolitical landscape shaped by ongoing conflicts, sectarian rivalries, and shifting alliances. Central to the region's dynamics is the enduring rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran, each of which seeks to assert itself as the dominant power. This competition is reflected in proxy wars, most notably in Yemen and Syria, and in political maneuvering across Lebanon and Iraq. Recent developments, including the normalization of relations between Israel and several Arab states, signal shifting alliances in the region. However, these agreements, often brokered by external powers like the United States, do not resolve the deeper sources of instability, such as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or the broader sectarian tensions between Sunni and Shia actors. Iran's pursuit of nuclear capabilities continues to be a focal point of international concern. Efforts to revive the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, have faced significant obstacles, with Tehran using its nuclear program as leverage in negotiations, while Israel and other regional actors view a nuclear-capable Iran as an existential threat. The potential for military escalation remains high, particularly as regional and global powers vie for influence over the region's vast energy resources and strategic trade routes. Africa's geopolitical role in the new global order. Africa is increasingly becoming a critical arena in the broader geopolitical competition, particularly between China, Russia, and the United States. The continent's rich natural resources, growing populations, and strategic location have made it a focal point for external powers seeking to expand their influence. China has established itself as the leading economic player in Africa, using its Belt and Road Initiative to fund infrastructure projects and secure long-term access to resources. In contrast, the US and European powers are increasingly focusing on countering Chinese influence through diplomatic engagement, development aid, and military cooperation, particularly in the fight against terrorism in the Sahel and Horn of Africa regions. Russia's role in Africa has also grown, primarily through military cooperation and arms sales, particularly in conflict-ridden areas like the Central African Republic and Libya. Africa's internal challenges, including governance issues, ethnic conflicts, and the growing impact of climate change, complicate these external engagements. The continent's geopolitical significance is expected to grow as global powers continue to seek strategic footholds amid the shifting global order. The role of technology, climate change, and global governance. Beyond traditional geopolitical factors, emerging challenges such as technological competition, climate change, and the fragility of global governance frameworks are reshaping the international landscape. Technological innovations in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and space exploration are becoming new arenas of competition, with the potential to redefine military and economic power. Climate change, meanwhile, poses a significant challenge to global stability, as resource scarcity, extreme weather events, and rising sea levels threaten to exacerbate existing conflicts and trigger new waves of migration. The geopolitical implications of climate change are particularly acute for regions such as the Arctic, where melting ice is opening new maritime routes and access to untapped resources, sparking competition between powers like the US, Russia, and China. The future of global governance remains uncertain, as multilateral institutions such as the United Nations and the World Trade Organization face declining legitimacy and effectiveness. The rise of nationalist and populist movements across the globe has eroded trust in international cooperation, while the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the weaknesses of global health governance. As the world becomes more interconnected yet divided, the need for effective and adaptive governance structures has never been greater. In conclusion, the global geopolitical landscape is defined by uncertainty and competition, with major powers jockeying for influence in an increasingly multipolar world. The interplay of traditional power politics, economic competition, and emerging challenges such as technology and climate change will continue to shape international relations in the coming years. The path forward is fraught with risks, but also opportunities for cooperation and the redefinition of global governance structures.